Okay, so then after Kartik had finished, I flew to Malaysia. I went to Malaysia for a break and got to Malaysia, and we did some kirtan in Malaysia. And in this special, there was this event that come up, and it was like a yoga type event, and there was some kirtan there. So we'd done some kirtan. People came, and they really enjoyed it. I took Narayana Krishna. He was with me, and some people had blessings there of Narayana Krishna. They all saw him, and I told them the story about how he was manifested. So they was very interested, and it was nice to share this story. But then, after the kirtan had finished, a lady walked in with her 3 children. She had 3 daughters, and she said, "Oh, I've missed it." She goes, I had my 3 daughters. They really like listening to Om Namo Narayanaya. They listened to it, and she said, "We heard it on your Instagram, singing Om Namo Narayanaya. It's very beautiful. It's really nice. We'd like to. We really like to. Could you sing for them? Could you sing for them? Om Namo Narayanaya." Now, when she said this, I remember Guruji saying, "If I give him to you, you only sing for him. You don't sing for people. You don't sing for pride or for your ego or for just to sing for people, for show or for performance. You're singing. You're singing for the Lord. You're singing with your heart." And when she said this to me, "Can you sing for them?" I'm thinking, how am I going to do that? I can't sing for people in this sense, But then I was thinking maybe. If you can see the divine in people, if you can see the Lord in people, then you are singing for the Lord. But still, my mind was telling me, I'm not sure if I can sing for them. I can tell them that we can sing for the Lord. So then I asked them their names, and this is amazing what their mum said. Their mum said, their names are Nara, Raya, and Yana. So these 3 girls were Nara, Raya, Yana. And it was basically the name of Narayana. So then I thought, wow, this is amazing. I can actually sing. I can sing for them. This is the divine. It's the divine name. So it was just really amazing how Guruji had created this scenario, saying that you can only sing for him, And there, in front of me, are these 3 tiny little girls and 3 triplets, basically, and they're Nara, Raya, and Yana. So this was just a nice thing to cap everything off that Guruji had asked me to do, to only sing for the Lord. So this was just an amazing thing that he created to show me that this is, that you only sing for the Lord. Then, after this happened, I went to Bali, and on the plane to Bali, the plane came in and the wings were moving sort of up and down a little bit, and it wasn't very good because we were coming to land, and I knew it wasn't going to be a good landing. People were getting a little bit worried, getting a bit scared, and everyone starts praying, and then all of a sudden the planes hit the runway, and it hit, and the plane just wobbled backwards and forwards, and lots of luggage all sort of like came down in the plane. And I had my rucksack, I had my bag next to me on a spare seat with Narayana Krishna inside. And he was in a mala bag inside my rucksack, all zipped up. But my rucksack went flying, hit the back of the chair and hit the floor. Then, when the plane stopped and everything was okay, everyone had been panicking, we was all worried, but we had in the end, we was okay. Probably not the best landing I've ever had in my life, but we was okay. Then I've gone to get my bag. I've taken Narayana Krishna out of my bag. And as I've looked at him, I've seen where his Sudarshana chakra is. Before he was like this, now his Sudarshana chakra with his wrist had gone like this. And his hand had just moved like this towards his head. And I'm thinking, wow, how did this... So what happened was, he hit the floor of the plane and his hand has turned like this to hit the floor of the plane. I told another devotee friend what had happened, and he said, wow, he said, it sounds like Narayana Krishna, he saved the plane, he's put his hand on the plane, or Guruji saved the plane, through Narayana Krishna. And it's just really strange how this could have happened, how his hand could have moved like this. And but I didn't see it like this at the time. I've seen his hand moved in and I'm thinking, oh my God, Guruji's going to kill me. What have I done? I should have held on to the bag. I shouldn't have had it by the side of the chair, And so I was really distraught. I was really like, I was just in such a mess, you know, like I'm in Bali and I'm thinking, what can I do? Narayana Krishna, his hand's gone like this, it's almost nearly towards his ear, you know, it's touching his ear nearly, and I'm thinking, I have to try and put this right. So what I tried to do, I tried to bend his hand back, and I tried to bend his hand back, and I remember I was in the car, passenger in the back of the car, the taxi driver we were going to this shop where they do jewellery, and they make small intricate jewellery, you know, and little statues as well, you know. So I was in the back of the car and I'm trying to move his hand back, and I got it back a little bit, you know, and it was almost like halfway back, and I'm thinking, wow, this is actually working. Maybe Guruji's he's helping me to get his hand back to normal, and you know, and maybe I should have just accepted how his hand was, because if he did save the plane, then it's a nice thing to remember, you know, that this is his new form now. His Sudarshana chakra came into action and he saved the plane. But no, I was still thinking, what have I done? He's not. I have to get him back to how he was. So I carried on moving him, and then all of a sudden, my worst nightmare happened. I carried on pushing his hand back, and I just heard, and his hand broke at the wrist. So his hand with the Sudarshana chakra had broken, and I'm just thinking, wow, his Sudarshana chakra is the thing that destroys everything, and there's me in the back of this taxi, and I've just destroyed his hand and his Sudarshana chakra, you know. So I felt really, really terrible. I felt terrible, and I went to the shop. We went to the shop, and I showed the lady what had happened, the shop lady, and she said, "Oh, her husband, he does welding. He could weld it back together. You know, he uses silver and brass solder to weld it." But I was too distraught, and I thought, no, because I couldn't leave it with them, because what if anything went wrong, and if anything happened worse. So that night I went to bed, and and I have to admit, I was crying. I was just crying in tears, and I was like looking at Narayana Krishna, and I'm saying, I'm so sorry. I'm really sorry that I've done this to you. I should have just accepted you how you was, you know. And inwardly I was praying to Guruji, and I'm apologising to Guruji, and I'm thinking, this is just terrible. This is just really bad. And I just, I was lying in bed, and I was just holding Narayana Krishna with his broken hand, and yeah, it just really, really affected me. So then the next day, I've gone back to the shop, and I thought, I have to get it fixed. Something was telling me I had to get it fixed. So I got him fixed, and the lady's husband, he resoldered the hand on Narayana Krishna at the wrist, where his bracelet was. And she got him back. She said her husband said he's stronger now than before. He's like, his hand's really strong, so don't worry, he'll be fine. And but I still felt really, really guilty and really bad about what happened, and I thought, I need to tell Guruji, and I couldn't send him an email or a message to say what had happened. I needed to see him. And at the time I was in Bali, and I knew he was in India. He was on somewhere in India, on a pilgrimage somewhere. But I knew he was coming to Vrindavan. So I could either go to Germany and wait for him to come back, which was going to be about a month, or I could come to Vrindavan and speak to him and explain to him what had happened. So in my heart, I just felt like I needed to come to Vrindavan. So I let go of the ticket going back to the UK, and I just booked a flight to come to India. I came to Delhi, came to Vrindavan, and this was on the end of January, 29th of January. And I stayed in Vrindavan for a little while. I came to the ashram, Giridhar Dham ashram, and I stayed here for a while until Guruji came. And then when Guruji came, I told him what had happened. I said that he'd hit his hand on the plane and it had bent in. He said, that's okay. He said, just look after him, it's okay. I said, but Guruji, that's not the end of the story. I tried to bend him back, and then Guruji said, you broke it, you broke his hand. I said, yes. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I did. And he said, okay. He said, show me the deity. So I went and got the deity. I showed him to Guruji, and he looked at him, and he's like looked at him with a big smile, and he's sort of like looking at him very lovingly, And I asked Guruji, I said, is he okay? Is he all right, Guruji? Is he going to be fine? And he said, of course he's okay. Of course he's fine. You think, say if he's your deity, you've got a relationship with him. If you say if you have your mother, you have a relationship with your mother, if she breaks a finger or she breaks her wrist, you don't get your mother and throw her in the bin. You know, you give your mother more love. You give her more love and you cherish her more. You know, you look after her. And so this taught me a big lesson. It taught me that, you know, when something like this happens with your deity, that it can help to make the relationship stronger. Because with me, I had lots of tears and I really felt a lot of pain in my heart what happened with him, you know. But at the same time, this helped to make the relationship stronger between us. And I think this is what Guruji sort of, in some ways, how he created, because everything happens how it's meant to be, he says. So this was the reason to help the relationship to become more deeper and to go even deeper into something, and not to get too attached to the material outside, to see the true love and the true relationship inside. And also, I've been in Vrindavan for 10 months. So if I had not have come to Vrindavan, I only intended to come for maybe 2 or 3 weeks, but, or really just to speak with him. And then I was going to go back to London. But because of lockdown, because of Corona and COVID, I've ended up being here for 10 months. So it's been a really amazing learning experience. And I was with Guruji for quite a long time while he was here. So everything happens how it's meant to happen. So yeah, but Narayana Krishna, he's good. He's very happy. He's had a really nice time in Vrindavan. He's had lots of good recovery, and yeah, so he's very happy. So Jai Gurudev, just wanted to share this story with you, and Jai Gurudev.